Hello everyone. This video is about 4 easy to grow Indian herbs. It was made as FB live session on 2 groups where I was invited to give information and tips on growing and maintaining 4 easy Indian herbs. Hope you like the video. Please subscribe to my channel as many more interesting videos are on the way.
So as you can see, I'm sitting in my urban jungle here. You can see a lot of plants around me. That's how our house is always. So I'll just introduce my little helper, my little farmer in our house, William Pasana. So today he has helped me to set up and do all the prep work for today's session. He will be behind the camera because of the space constraint, and I have to show a lot of things. So just William, just say hi to all.
Hi everybody.
So as you must have seen, today's topic, what we are going to cover is 4 easy to grow and easy to maintain Indian herbs. Now, we all do cooking, and in the family, and Indian cooking is known and is famous for its extensive use of condiments and herbs. When we make a tadka in the kitchen, the whole house feel, oh wow, something good is cooking, we feel hungry. That's all because of lot of things which we put in that oil. Oil per se is not tempting enough, but when we put lot of condiments and herbs, the whole house really gets hungry. And it has been proven, now the world is recognizing the importance of Indian herbs, be it turmeric, tulsi, or our normal curry leaves. The list is just endless. Now if you want to cover the all herbs growing in our kitchen garden, I think I'll require maybe 10-20 sessions like this. So just for today's session, I have chosen 4 very easy to grow herbs, Indian herbs, which we use in the kitchen or which has a medicinal purpose. And these herbs basically are easy even for the beginners who have never grown anything in gardening, or who just want to begin their kitchen gardening. These 4 are definitely the ones we can start with. So we'll start now with the first one. The first one I'm going to begin is it has a importance in our religion, it has importance in mythology, and very commonly found once upon a time in all Indian household. That's nothing but our tulsi or holy basil. Now why is it called holy basil, or it's considered as Krishna's favorite plant? It's for the reason it has amazing list of benefits in terms of medicine. We have been using this for sore throat, we have used this in kadas for years. Our grandmother used to make kada. I'm sure you all must have had it in your childhood. Also, why every household used to have one tulsi plant? Because it is considered very good for giving out oxygen or for air purifying. So whenever we go near this plant, we are ensuring that we are getting extra oxygen. So yeah, this is a very easy, it's a very small plant. It doesn't even require a space, because when we are in place like Mumbai, the gardening space available in our houses is very, very limited. We either have a balcony, which is also quite rare, or we have a window grill, or we just have one tiny corner where we have to fit in all our gardening love. So tulsi doesn't take much space. Even the smaller pot than this is also okay. So I'll just start basic information on tulsi. What do we exactly need in terms of the sapling or seeds and all? For each plant I'll be explaining that. Guys, am I audible and visible on both the groups? Can someone give thumbs up and confirm so that I'll know it's going smoothly? So any questions and all you can ask in between or at the end of the session, or you can later also contact me for with finer, if you need some finer details, I'll be glad to assist. So tulsi as a plant can be grown two ways. One is from seeds. What we say, in Marathi we have a good, nice, beautiful word for this. This is called manjiri, we say. So these are nothing but seed pods of tulsi. Can everyone see in this camera? Yeah. So when you put this manjiris, dry manjiris in the soil, it gives out the new baby plants. But if you are a beginner, you are not really sure how to start with that seedling process, you can buy easily a ready sapling of tulsi plant. Tulsi plant, you can get it from anywhere, buy from a good source, ensure that it has a good strong root structure, and then buy it. Now tulsi plant comes in various varieties. The two commonly named are Ram Tulsi and Krishna Tulsi. So Krishna Tulsi is, or it is a Sham Tulsi, is dark in color. The leaves are darker in shade, as well as the stem is also quite dark, almost black or a little purplish in shade. And it has more medicinal benefit. But you can have any kind of tulsi, it's fine. But sometimes some medicinal purposes people prefer going for Krishna Tulsi. Now the most important part for tulsi is the sunlight. It's a sun-loving plant, and if we do not have an open space where we can keep this pot, then at least ensure it gets 2 hours good, nice, bright sunlight. That's sufficient. But do not keep this plant indoor. It definitely needs 2 hours sunlight. The second part is the soil. Now soil, I'm going to talk little more on it right now, so that it will be applicable for all other herbs as well, or in general all the plants. Now as I showed you my tiny pot of aloe vera, and I said the soil is the magic. For each and every plant, the soil is the key. What happens is we have to always remember why plants or trees do better in nature outside, in wild or in forest, because they have the good soil available at their bottom. So what is in that soil? They have lot of organic matter or lot of moving things in that soil. So we have to ensure the soil in all our pots is not a dead soil, it's a alive soil. So how do we keep it alive? So let's not keep only red soil as a potting mix in our pots. Ensure that it has lot of compost put in that. We can put cow manure, that is shenkhat, in it, or you can put vermicompost, and go on adding more microbial things like buttermilk, curd regularly. I'll explain to you when we come to curry leaves herb. That time I'll explain how do we add buttermilk to the soil and what it does. So ensure for all our plants we have a well drained soil, well drained potting mix, so that water doesn't get logged or it doesn't get soggy. So I'll just show you your soil. The ideal soil should look like nice chocolate brownie, that kind of consistency, that kind of softness. So use that as a marker in your mind when you prepare a potting mix for all your plants. So and the important part is the watering. Now many a times people tend to overwater tulsi, being it as a part of your puja rituals, daily rituals, or many a times more people water the plants. So if I am watering, maybe my child also will come and water, or somebody else, elder person in house also will water the same plant. So tulsi cannot tolerate over watering. This is very important. It cannot tolerate less water as well as it cannot tolerate extra water. So always remember, ensure just one person in the household has a responsibility of watering tulsi, so that chances of overwatering are not there. You can just water it sufficient enough to make the soil moist. We do not want soggy soil. So this is about tulsi, and now let's move to the next one. Next one I am going to start with is the most commonly used herb in our Indian cooking, that is nothing but curry leaves. You can see here I am sitting with here 3 curry leaves plants of mine, and all of us use extensively curry leaves in our chutneys, in our tadkas, when we make sambar, when we make vegetable. Now recently, it has been very popular to be used in hair oil also. A lot of people boil curry leaves inside the coconut oil and they use it for hair. So the uses are endless. It's a very easy plant. I mean, a plant like tulsi is a bit delicate. It demands your attention in terms of watering, sunlight and all. But curry leaves is not like that. It's a very easy, forgiving plant. It accepts our mistakes also and still grows well. So how do we begin this plant? There are two methods where one is buying a sapling. You can buy a good healthy sapling. Better to go from some organic source and ensure the root structure is strong, as I already mentioned. The second method is it's a very rarely but curry leaves plant does give seeds. Very rare. It gives a beautiful white flowers first. They turn into seed pods and then you can sow those seeds and get new plants. But it's a bit uncommon. The second thing is when you have a mature curry leaf plant. As you can see, this is a very big curry leaves plant I have. It's like right now when it's going above my height. So such mature plants, and you have a good soil, healthy soil, eventually they start giving babies from the bottom. So at the bottom, in the soil, you'll find a lot of new baby plants coming. So once they grow maybe a height of say 6 inches and all, very delicately you can separate them from the mother plant and they become a separate plant. You can keep them in other pot or you can allow them to grow as it is. Now in terms of watering, as I said, this is a very forgiving plant, but still we should ensure that we are watering that well and water it moderately so that soil remains moist, no sogginess, and well drained soil so that if we do again a session or something, I have few of your such posts on my Facebook page Global City Farmer also about how to prepare a potting mix or how to do the layering. So you can have a look to ensure we have a well drained soil, organic soil, and also, as I said, alive soil. So in that terms, yes, this soil has to be well drained. In terms of sunlight, it is not a very highly demanding plant, so it does well in direct sun. It does okay even in indirect sun. So to be very frank, my both the curry leaves plants are indoor. They are not even in window, they are in the house. So they get partial sunlight, maybe just 1 hour a day, which comes from the window inside the house, and they are doing fine. So it's a very easy plant, as I said. Now, as I mentioned before, I'll just give you an idea of how to use a buttermilk for the soil. Now, we all know buttermilk or a curd has a lot of this lactobacillus bacteria in it, which are very beneficial bacteria for us, and they are also beneficial for the soil. So how do we give it to the soil is every 15-20 days we can keep small glass of buttermilk overnight outside the fridge. Excuse me. And later the next day it turns out to be a sour buttermilk. So that little bit diluted, and that next day, instead of watering the plant with regular water, just add this buttermilk in that soil. So what happens is it gives an extra dose of microbial culture to the soil, so it becomes very active soil, and also especially for curry leaves plant, it increases the flavor, it enhances the flavor of the leaves. And it's a very easy thing. We all have buttermilk in the house. It's nothing we have to do extra. It's an organic method. Of course, you can do this for other plants as well, but especially for curry leaves is definitely beneficial. Ensure that it's diluted. It's not very strong buttermilk, because it's a lactic acid, nothing. So we don't want to damage it, damage the roots or anything. So just dilute it. Put half water and half buttermilk, and then put it in the soil. Yeah, hi Sheetal, hi Pallavi, and if you are having any doubts, please ask. Hi Devati, please feel free to ask in between or later as well. So we have right now covered tulsi and curry leaves. Now we are coming to the third one, it's again the easier than even curry leaves plant. A very forgiving, very friendly plant, we can say. You can call it as a beginner's kitchen herb. So people who don't know, who have never tried gardening, this is the ideal plant to try. So I'll just show you. So this is not, you all can see this plant. This is a ajwain plant, or there is actually another nice name for it as well. It's called Cuban oregano. It's a very useful, very fragrant Indian herb. Now we have in kitchen ajwain, or we say owa in Marathi. So that owa and this owa, this ajwain are different. Only thing, this gives similar fragrance, that's why the name is come for it as ajwain. But this is not that ajwain what we have in kitchen as a condiment. It has lot of medicinal uses. You might have heard, eat this when your stomach is paining. It's given even for kids. It is used in kadha. It is very nice in kadha. Also, many a times people use this in the kitchen, many dishes, in place of normal owa. So we can do that as well. We can make very nice tasty pakodas, bhajas with this. You might have eaten this. This is very commonly made in rainy season. And also you can make wonderful chutney. It's a South Indian kind of recipe, and very it's made with coconut. Tastes just amazing. If anyone wants, later I can share the recipe. And this plant is like really easy. It loves the water, that's it. It doesn't demand anything. Even if you go wrong with its soil, water, sunlight, it will still keep on producing. It just grows wild. So I'll just show you how do we grow this plant. We don't have to go and buy sapling or anything for this plant. This is a very simple plant. I'll just show you what we have to do. We can grow this plant just from the cutting. We have to root the plant. I'll just explain to you. So you have to take one branch which is matured enough. So as you can see, my plant is grown wild. I'll just show you how do we take a cutting. So can you see this branch? You can see this branch is very mature. It has barely any leaves because I've been using these leaves almost daily. So I'm going to use this branch which has almost no leaves now, and I'll just show you how do we cut. So make a sharp cut if possible at slight angle. Avoid making a straight cut. So we are going to see, we have cut this small branch. Let these 2-3 leaves on the top be as it is. As you can see, now this plant has if you can see here, I don't know if it's clear in this picture, it has already started growing some aerial roots. These are nothing but roots. So these plants tries to multiply itself very easily. So what you can do is, you can take this now nice thick branch and put it in a glass of water. So here you can see, this is already my glass here which has lot of other plants which are kept for rooting. Just dip it like this and just keep on changing water alternate days, so that the water doesn't get brown and it doesn't rot the branch. Within like 5-6 days you will find this roots have started developing. Once you see the roots are matured like for 10 days or something, you can just take out this branch and put it in a nice pot, whichever pot you have available right now. We cannot go out and buy anything, so you can make use of anything available in the house and convert into a pot. Hi Anisha. And just allow it to grow. Within a month you will find the plant has already started producing leaves, and you will have steady supply of ajwain leaves in your kitchen. So as you can see, also you can for your smaller cuttings, which also you can use the tiny glass. So this is again my glass for rooting. This I've kept rosemary here for rooting. This is some show plant. So yeah, you can just these are all trial error method. These are fun experiments. Involve your kids. They can know a lot of what they learn in their EVS science. They can see it happening in front of them if you involve them in such experiments. Now, in terms of sunlight, this plant does joint plant does very well in shade as well as sun. It's absolutely non-demanding plant. Second thing is the soil. This plant doesn't have any demands on soil as well, but as a practice, make a well-drained soil so that it's always beneficial. This plant is also useful for as a pest control for other plants. So for example, you have a say tomato plant growing. Now tomato plant is very prone for infection, but if you have this plant in the same pot or just adjoining pot, it will try to protect the tomato plant from getting infected. So it has a lot of, because it's very fragrant, it has a very strong smell, so it helps in pest control as well. Hi Kavita. So now we are coming to the fourth herb for the day. It's a very one of my favorite. It's little tougher than other three which I mentioned, but it's definitely worth trying. So we are going to talk about a plant that is pudina, or in English we say mint. And mint has again lot of medicinal uses. We use mint in kada. It is very good for digestion. It's good for cold, cough, and also culinary uses are just amazing. I mean, a lot of you people are expert in cooking, and I'm sure you all are using mint for many recipes. We use it in raita, chutneys, to make a sauce. We use it in biryani and many dishes. It has uses, and it has that freshness in that fragrance. Also this plant per se looks very beautiful. So what happens is if you have it in a hanging pot, it starts growing like a overflowing method, and it adds the real beauty to your garden. Also, if you have this mint plant in your balcony or in a window from where breeze is coming, the whole house will be fragrant with mint fragrance. No need of any air freshener. This is a natural air freshener for the house, and means if any of you all have experienced this, the mint can really fill the house with that fragrance. Now as I said, it's a bit difficult, but worth trying. As I said, in gardening, trial error is definitely a part and parcel of the whole learning process. So there are two methods from where we can start the mint in your house. One is sometimes when we buy from a store, bhajiwala mint, we get a nice thick stem of mint. So you can keep that in a small glass like this. Remove the leaves, especially the bottom leaves, and keep that portion, the stem, in this kind of small glass. And within 3-4 days it will start showing you beautiful roots. Then put it in a good soil. Now remember, the soil for the mint has to be very well drained. It doesn't like a compact soil, it doesn't like a hard soil. Okay, so that is one thing. So just I'll try to show, see if it's visible. The soil in my mint, how this should be the consistency, this should be the color. This is a perfect organic soil, very loose soil, and mint enjoys that. Can you see here the baby plant? That is an indication plant is happy, is giving small baby plants. When plant is in a comfortable condition, it starts producing more baby plants in that atmosphere. Also, if you don't want to try the rooting method, you can when the things start moving, you can always buy a good nice strong sapling from a nursery or some good source. And how do we use this mint? We have to keep on using the mint, then only plant will produce more leaves. It likes being used, so use the leaves, do not keep it. It will produce more leaves, more branches. The same thing with tulsi. When we are using tulsi, use the leaves as you don't make the plant totally bare, but keep using the leaves for your cooking, kitchen, for puja, whatever purpose you plan, and then it will produce more leaves. There are also different ways, how we can make plant produce more branches so that it has a bushy look, but that's totally a detailed topic. Maybe we can do some other session some other time. So that's how it is. And I mean, these are the four. In terms of sunlight for mint, I missed out. It is a sun loving plant, so like tulsi, ensure it gets at least 2 hours sunlight. Watering has to be moderate just to make the soil moist, and soil, as I said, keep it well drained, organic, alive soil. And yeah, in any queries, please let me know. These are just four easy one you can all begin with, and later the list of herbs used by us is just very big. We can easily grow lemongrass, again a very fragrant, very nice plant to have in the house, very easy forgiving plant. Also we can have some exotic herbs like rosemary, thyme, Italian basil, but these should be eventually done as a next step when you have little experience with gardening, because these are not really Indian herbs, so they require a little bit care, skill in terms of protection, some knowledge. So yeah, but of course we can do trial error and start that. And also we can grow coriander, then garlic chives, onion greens. If anyone interested, I can share you the post of onion greens. It's very easy to grow. I have made already a post on this on my Facebook page. So yeah, y'all can try that as well. It's fun. Try to, if you have little kids, try to involve them. They love it. They're already studying this in theory in school. So when they see all this happening in front of their eyes through their hands, it's a different learning process. They learn to value what farmers are doing for us. When they see how much efforts are going in growing a single vegetable or single herb, so there are good chances they will start eating all vegetables more with respect. So yeah, this is what I decided to cover today. I hope you all will start gardening and you all like the session. And let me know any queries. Feel free to contact me later as well. Thank you. Okay, bye. I'm signing off now.